Woo! Isn't it just? G'day guys and welcome back to your English Aussie. Today I'm going to go through my chip strategy for the first few game weeks and my game week 1 draft, which I'll let you in on a little secret, has a lot of good players packed into it. Let's jump straight into it. So this is the beginning of my game week 1 bench boost draft. I am currently thinking of playing my bench boost in game week 1, getting it out of the way, and I'm looking to play my free hit in game week 2 to attack those early week variances. So in FPL, game weeks 1 to 10 often is where the most variance is between managers in the whole season before the teams start to converge into a template. I want to try and make the most of those weeks, gain as much rank as possible, and start really well this season. I'm confident in my strategy and my gameplay for the rest of the season that I can keep myself or improve my rank as we go along, but I really want to maximize those first 10 game weeks and try and get as high a rank as possible with the introduction of all these new chips. I think game week 1 bench boost is a really nice time to use it. Free hitting in game week 2 allows me to manage that week where there's quite a lot of nice fixtures that I'd like to attack and might not be able to with my bench boost team. It also gives me an extra week of information before potentially playing my wild card as early as game week 4 in the international break, looking to get some price rises and some additional money into the team, as well as moving towards a bit of a cheaper bench and spreading the funds out across my team. Hopefully we've got enough information by that point to be able to make good decisions with the rest of the team. If my team is going really well, I will push that wildcard back to around game week 7, where Arsenal's defensive fixtures start to become a bit nicer. Also, Wolves around game week 6 become a little bit nicer from an attacking sense. And if my team is really strong all the way through, then I will push the wildcard back to a game week 12 or 13. Check out my early chip strategy video, which talks through a lot of different strategies and options that you can go with if you don't want to bench boost in game week 1. If you do, and where the best places to wildcard and free hit are, I'll leave a link to that down below in the description or up above. Check out my channel for those videos. So at the back, I've gone for a rotation of Areola and Kelleher in goal. A nice couple of fixtures in game week 1 for the bench boost with Sunderland and Nottingham Forest, who are now missing Elanga from their strike force. Forest have so far, I think, got 3 0-0 draws in pre-season. So potentially still looking good at the back. However, struggling to create those offensive chances. And my back 5, as you can see, is quite heavily geared up. 5 centre-backs in the back 5. Now, I've spoken again at length in my DEFCON video and also in my best FPL defenders video as to what your strategy should be at the beginning of the season. And there are differing strategies that you could take on depending on the length of time that you are planning to wildcard and depending on the length of time you're planning to sort of hold these defenders for. At the end of the day, I decided that I thought Tarkowski and Murillo were great value options regardless, because they have good fixtures and great DEFCON points. So they have that ability to pick up those clean sheets and also to get those additional DEFCON points. Virgil van Dijk, I think Liverpool, not the most brilliant fixtures, but obviously one of the leading defences in the league. I think Arsenal's fixtures are just as tricky, if not even more tricky, over the first 6 game weeks. And therefore, I like Van Dijk, given that he can also pick up some DEFCON points. I obviously prefer him to a Frimpong and Gyokeres, as I discussed in my previous videos. So check them out if you haven't had a look. Steve of Burnley and Rodon of Leeds. I think Rodon is my favourite centre-back at 4.0 mil for those DEFCON points in game week 1. Bijo of Leeds would be there. However, he is suspended for game week 1. So you could look for him if you're not looking to bench boost in game week 1. And Steve of Burnley is the most nailed on Burnley centre-back. We're still not sure what Scott Parker's going to set up in, if it's going to be a 3-5-2 or a 4 at the back formation. He has been tinkering a little bit in pre-season, but we do know that Steve is nailed in that side and will be starting in game week 1. I like my picks. I think some alternative options that you could look for, and was a bit of a 50-50 depending on Tarkowski's fitness, is Ryan Ait-Nouri. If you are looking for short-term fixtures and an early wild card, I think Ait-Nouri's clean sheets and attacking potential is fantastic. I expect Pep to start him in game week 1. I know people talk of Pep Roulette, but Ait-Nouri looked fantastic in the Club World Cup. He was practically camped in the opposition box. And as you can see, my team value is 99.5 million. I do have an extra 0.5 million. And I most likely, if Tarkowski is not fit for game week 1, I will have Ait-Nouri in that slot. Make sure to tune in for my deadline stream. I will be giving all the latest injury updates, press conference news, right up until the deadline stream prior to game week 1. I will also be doing giveaways for hoodies, t-shirts for members that sign up before game week 1 to my channel. I might also be doing a few additional giveaways for people joining on stream. So make sure you tune in for that. Moving on to the midfield, and we do have Mo Salah in the midfield alongside Cole Palmer. I've gone for the double up of these two, and you will see I have even fitted in a third premium into my side. We will get on to the strike force shortly, but at the moment I've gone for Mo Salah and Cole Palmer, both in my side. I think they both give you great captaincy options, and that is really one of the reasons that you want to have that and not spread your funds across the rest of the team. Although you can get a really nice squad, excluding maybe one of Salah and Palmer, I think the captaincy options that they provide you are the important thing and why I have got them both in my side. Outside of that, I do have Morgan Rogers of Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa have such a good first 6-7 game weeks that if my team is going well, I'm able to just roll these guys straight through to game week 7 wildcard, or potentially even longer, using a few transfers along the way. Elliot Anderson is someone at 5.5 million that is really good for DEFCON points. CBIT of around 13 plus, and could pick up 2 additional points almost every game or every other game this season. So someone that I really like in there at 5.5 million. And my differential pick that I think is going well under the radar at the moment is Harry Wilson of Fulham. Looks like he's going to bed down that right wing slot as his own. He's been on a lot of set pieces for Fulham in pre-season. Bagged a brace, bagged another goal and assist in the latest game. He looks like he's on really hot form at the moment, and definitely someone that at 5.5 million is probably one of the best options out there, alongside Anderson, Adingra, maybe Lefay and Baliba at 5 million as well. Guys, just a quick shout out. If you haven't already, if you could please drop a like if you've enjoyed this content and subscribe down below to this channel. It really does make a huge difference to small content creators like me, helping us to continue to grow on YouTube. Thanks so much. Let's get straight back into the video. On to my strike force, and as promised, there is one more premium in the mix, and it is the man, Victor Gyokeres of Arsenal. He's come in at 9 million. I think a little bit underpriced for me. I probably would have paid 9.5, maybe even 10 million for him if I could have fitted him in my team. If it looks like he's going to start game week 1 for Arsenal, and I think Arteta did mention that he would be playing in the next couple of games of pre-season. I'm recording this just before they took place. So I do think Gyokeres will most likely be starting game week 1 for Arsenal up front. If that's the case, he looks great for those first 2 game weeks. Alongside him, I've got Dom Solanke. If he recovers from a minor ankle injury picked up in pre-season, he should be fine to go for Burnley in game week 1. Spurs with a really nice fixtures for the first 6 game weeks, and Solanke fits really nicely into that team at 7.5 million. The twist in the tail could be if Yohan Wissa moves to Newcastle in place of Alexander Isak. That could also be really nice at 7.5 million. And my final forward is Igor Thiago of Brentford. Whether or not Wissa leaves Brentford, we do expect Igor Thiago to lead the line. Wissa most likely to play in that second striker role like he was with Ivan Toney. However, he has asked to be transferred, hasn't turned up to pre-season, hasn't been in training, so I don't expect him to be there this season. Igor Thiago obviously suffering from injuries last year, but at 6 million and leading the line for Brentford is real great value for money. And I really like him on the bench for my bench boost game week 1. That is my game week 1 3 premium bench boost team. If you have enjoyed this content so far, please give a like, subscribe down below to the channel. It really does make a big difference for a small content creator, so I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got all the way to the end, this has been your English Aussie, and have a great week, everybody.